What's going on, guys? I'm Mo. That's YG.
What's up?
And welcome to After the Whistle. Now, today we're going to be bringing you guys our predictions on the 2017 NBA playoffs. The way we're going to do this, we're going to start off with giving you guys our first shot predictions in the West, and then we'll be moving on and giving you guys our predictions in the East. So, Yassine, do you want to go ahead and give us your first shot playoff predictions in the West?
Yeah, absolutely. In the West, we've got the 1 seed and the 8 seed. The 1 seed being Golden State and the 8 seed being Portland. I've got Golden State taking that 4-1, so they'll wrap it up in 5 games. Portland is just undermanned. Golden State just got too much firepower. They're really good on defense. They can, defend the perimeter, which that's what Portland really thrives in. If Portland's big man comes back in time, he might be able to help them squeak out that 1 win at home. But otherwise, I don't see them coming out of that series. So I've got Golden State 4-1. What do you think?
And for me, I would say the same thing. I have Golden State going 4-1, with Portland getting that 1 home game at Portland at the Motor Center.
Okay.
Golden State is just now getting healthy at the right time. They just got KD back. Before then, they were firing on all cylinders. Steph was playing at an MVP level. Clay was playing at a very high level. I think they'll just have too much firepower. Defensively, they're always great with Draymond being there for them. So, I would say definitely Golden State in 5 games.
And our second series is going to be San Antonio, and they're playing Memphis.
Memphis, yes.
So that one's going to be a grind-out series, and I don't think Memphis has a chance at all. But they're going to be able to get into San Antonio. I think in the last couple of days now, San Antonio, I think, will take it in 5.
You think so?
I think they'll take it in 5. They'll probably get 1 at home. Memphis will, just because of that grind-out game that they play. Again, San Antonio is a really complete team. Memphis, they're good defensively, but they're getting old with Zach Randolph coming off the bench. Mike Conley doesn't have too much help out there in the perimeter. So again, I see San Antonio taking that 4-1. I see Memphis getting a win at home. And San Antonio should wrap it up in 5 games.
And the way I see it, I think San Antonio is just going to control the series throughout. I have San Antonio winning in 5 games. I think Memphis could do a good job defensively with their bigs and Gasol, with Zebo off the bench, and Conley in the point guard position, which I think will control the point guard position. With Tony Parker, they'll probably win in 5. That's just the way I see it. So moving on, we have the 3-6, the very highly anticipated matchup between the Oklahoma City Thunder and Houston Rockets. 2 MVP candidates in Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
I've got that series going 4-2 with Houston. I can see Westbrook. He doesn't have a lot of help, but I can see him somehow sneaking in 2 wins. The first 4 games are going to be very important in that series, and they might split the first 4. And then I can see Houston kind of just running away with it because Westbrook's a one-man show. I mean, at some point in time, he's going to break down. At some point in time, he's going to get tired. Doesn't have a lot of help. Again, with Houston, they got plenty of help too. 6-man of the year candidates. They have coach of the year candidate. And like Mo said, James Harden is an MVP candidate. So I've got them taking it 4-2 and moving on to the next round.
But the way I see it, I just don't see that the Oklahoma City Thunder have enough around Russ to win them 2 games.
Okay.
I think Houston takes this in 5, and I just think that Houston has too much around them. Like, they have too much firepower, too much 3-point shooting. They're a top 5 offense, so they're really good at that, and D'Antoni has made them that. But I believe, Houston will win in 5, and it's just because Westbrook doesn't have enough around.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. I think Cantor and Adams and Oladipo have been kind of, getting it together the last couple of games.
I've seen the whole season that Cantor's been playing very well, but everybody around that, like Roberson, can't shoot. And you need 3-point shooting.
McDermott, man, he might be the X factor in that series.
McDermott? Oh, is he the shooter? Yeah, I could see him being an X factor.
He could be the X factor in that series, but aside from that, if he can't get someone else to help him make shots, it could be a 4-0 series. Yeah. But I'm going to give Russ the benefit of the doubt.
I think he could win them.
I think he could win it too.
Okay, so moving on, we probably have the tightest series coming up, which is the Los Angeles Clippers going against the Utah Jazz. Now, this is a 4-5 matchup. They just settled it yesterday with the last game of the regular season, with LA locking it up at the 4 and then Utah getting it at the 5. How do you see it playing out?
It's going to be. I think it's going to be the only 7-game series in the entire first round. I've got the Clippers taking it in 7. home court, in this case, advantage is just going to play a big part. And I thought it was going to go 7 either way, or whoever had home court advantage would probably win it in 7. But with the Clippers, just experience and just the coaching and having Chris Paul, kind of run the show, I think they have enough to get past Utah. Utah's a really good defensive team. Having DeAndre Jordan down low and also Blake is going to give Rudy Gobert a lot of problems. I see that I think he's going to be in a lot of foul trouble down there, with DeAndre being just so physical. But again, Utah's got enough talent to win 3 games, and I think it's going to be a 7-game series going to Clippers.
Now I'm going to go a game less. I'm going to say LA in 6.
Okay.
I think LA does have a lot of experience on Utah, and that's where matchup is going to play out. I think LA's, with Chris Paul leading them, and now DeAndre being like an all-NBA center, and then Blake Griffin always an all-NBA talent.
Right.
I think they'll just have too much talent overall to get past Utah, and that's the way I see it. I mean, yeah, you're right. Utah does have a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. They have great coaching. I don't think they have enough to get past LA.
And I agree with you completely. They don't have enough to get past LA, but I do think they're good enough to push LA to 7 games.
Now, moving on to the Eastern Conference, in our first matchup, we have the number 1 seed Boston Celtics versus the number 8 seed Chicago Bulls. And how do you see this one playing out?
It's a tricky series, only because Chicago gave Boston some problems during the regular season. It's almost like a trap game. I know it's a 1 and 8 seed.
Yeah.
Typically isn't that way, but the playoffs, everything starts all over. I do have Boston ultimately winning that series 4-2, wrapping it up in 6 games. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago won. I wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong. So it should be a tough matchup for Boston. It should be a really good test. But I just don't see Wade and Butler and Rondo being able to take Boston or to take Chicago over the hump, and Boston's really good defensively, so I've got them taking.
And here's the thing: Chicago has been playing really well against them throughout the whole regular season.
Yeah.
And with that McDermott trade, it hurt them a lot. They lost a shooter, and they desperately needed a shooter because throughout the season they really can't shoot with Rondo at the point. Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler, none of them are really that great of a shooters. Jimmy Butler probably the best out of the 3.
Right.
I see it going the same way. I think Boston will be able to squeeze this one out in 6 games.
Okay.
And then I think Isaiah Thomas and those boys will be able to take care of them. I just think they're really good defensively. They have great coaching. They have an MVP candidate. I think all that plays out in Boston's favor. But now here's the thing. Isaiah Thomas is very small. And he's 5'9". In the playoffs, it gets real physical.
It does.
You think he'll be able to score as easily as he does during the regular season in the playoffs?
I don't think so, but we'll see.
Okay. So moving on to the next series, we got the number 2 seed, the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James and company, versus the number 7 seed, the Indiana Pacers. I have Cleveland going in 6. Now, Cleveland right now have been slumping lately. Defensively, they're not as good as they should be. They lost to Atlanta twice in 1 week. And they blew, I think, in one of those games, a 24-point lead or something? 27-point lead. So that was a huge hit for them and to their confidence. But I know that Cleveland, once the playoffs hit, I think they're going to be able to just turn it on.
Okay.
Now, I say 6 just because the Pacers aren't like somebody you could step over.
Right.
Paul George is a great player.
Right. They
have great talent on that team. Lance Stevenson has given them new life. That's the way I see it. And I only think that's enough to get you 2 games. That's why I see Cleveland going in 6. How about you?
I've got Cleveland going in 6. Now, they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana's able to take them to 7, but only because just Cleveland's just defensive, they're just struggling. They can't stop anybody out on the perimeter. You can't shut down Paul George or LeBron James. You can only contain them. And with the guard play that Indiana has, Kyrie's really good offensively, but defensively,
that's going to be an interesting matchup. Jeff Teague and Kyrie.
Right. Again, I've got Cleveland going to 6. I would not be surprised if it goes to 7 if Cleveland ultimately pulls it out. But that should be a really, really tough series for Cleveland, and if they're going to get themselves back together and playing good defensive championship basketball, it's going to be against a team like Indiana.
For sure.
They're drawing a lot of players like Paul George that can just score a little.
And I see that happening.
Right.
So moving on, we got the 3 and 6, the Toronto Raptors going against the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So how do you see this one going?
Again, very intriguing series. It's going to be a very athletic series. It's a lot of athletes across the board.
Oh, for sure.
on both teams. I just don't see Milwaukee having enough manpower to be able to stop Toronto. And that's not saying that Toronto's great offensively. I mean, outside of DeMar and Kyle, I don't think anyone can just on any given night go off and give you 30 or 35, you know?
And now I do see great play out of Milwaukee. They do get great play out of Antetokounmpo, who leads their team in every statistical category. I think the fifth player to do that in NBA history. They have great pieces around them.
They're not ready to make that next jump yet.
Exactly, yeah.
And getting Jabari Parker back at some point next year.
Yes, that was huge.
You know, that'll help them moving forward. But right now, they're just, I mean, Antetokounmpo can't do it all by himself. So I've got Toronto taking that series 4-1 at this point.
And real quick, I'm going to agree with you. 5 games is the way I see it. And Kyle Lowry, he's just getting back from injury.
Yeah.
He's been playing really well coming off injury. So they're getting a healthy Kyle Lowry. They have DeRozan, who's been playing extremely well throughout the whole season. And then the pickups of Serge Ibaka and PJ Tucker have been big. And I think that's where we're going to see it play out in Toronto's favor as well. And probably his most highly anticipated series, we have the Washington Wizards going against the Atlanta Hawks. And the way I see the series, Washington 5 games. Washington has too much talent for Atlanta. They play really well. John Wall's leading that team MVP fashion. Like, he's not being talked about, but he's one of the best. He's the second best player in the East, I would say. Atlanta, they don't have enough. I don't think Paul Millsap can take that team to where it needs to be. I think Bradley Beal's been playing great all year, and he's finally healthy, and that's great to see him in the playoffs. So
you got Atlanta 5-1.
Washington 4-1.
Okay.
Washington 4-1.
As a Wizards fan, I would say it's going to be a sweep. But, you know, that should be a good matchup for the Wizards in that first round. Just going back to the last time we played Atlanta 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When Atlanta was the #1 seed.
That's where the history comes in, yeah.
John Wall had gotten hurt, and we ended up taking to a 6-game series, and we were a Nene rebound away from going to a Game 7.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that this Washington team is way more talented than that team of 2 years ago.
They're a dark horse, I would say.
They are.
Dark horse
coming out of the East.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but, you know, it's crazy, but I have them going 4-1 and wrapping it up in a 5-game series, but I could really see Atlanta pulling 2 wins out. And that's only because now with Jan Mahimi out for the next 10, maybe 15 days, that's going to be a big blow to the Wizards. We don't really have a big man coming off the bench.
And like exactly. And like all the other teams we talked about, Washington did a good job of like stacking their bench.
Yeah.
They did a good job picking up of Bojan Bogdanovic from the Nets, and then picking up Brandon Jennings for the Knicks.
Right.
And those guys are great scorers. And bringing them off the bench is the punch that they needed for a while.
Right.
Before that, they struggled to get scoring off the bench. And Oubre defensively is great, but he's not going to bring you that scoring punch.
No, he's just going to give you a lot of hustle points. He's going to give you really great defense.
Yeah.
And to me, he's going to be an X factor. And if Oubre can play really great defense on Tim Hardaway Jr., which I think is Atlanta's X factor, then okay, we should take that series in 5 games. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 6. And you know, hopefully they are able to play winner Boston or Chicago in the second round.
I agree. So there you have it. Those were our 2017 NBA playoff predictions for the first round. Stay tuned because we will have our predictions for rounds coming up. And then also, if you guys want to check out our first video, it's our introduction, just letting you guys know what we're all about. Please go check that out and subscribe. Also give us a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. Thanks, guys. We out.